Cook Up Academy.
I know you want it, you looking for it. I know who got it. She talk about it in every EP, leave you Don't nobody ever be on what she be on. This is LOL with Kiki Simone. You hear that? Life out loud.
Did you miss me?
What's up, everybody? What's up? What up, everybody in podcast land? What's happening?
I believe. Hold on, did you say happening?
I said happening.
What
Happening.
happening?
What happening?
Yeah,
Happening.
you tripping, shout out.
Happening.
Stay in your own lane, shout. Don't be trying to.
I'm gonna stay in my lane.
You know
What's
what I'm saying?
happening?
Oh no.
What's happening?
Say hello, everyone in podcast land.
Hello, everyone in podcast land. This is your girl Kiki
that's
Simone,
it,
and I am
yeah.
here as your host. Yeah,
That's
I'm
it
here.
right there.
Nah, that don't even sound like
that's
me.
it. That's definitely you.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Life Out Loud podcast with Kiki Simone and friends.
And
I am your girl, Kiki
friends,
Simone.
ooh.
I got my boy, my babe, my everything.
She
Ace,
gotta do that every
baby.
time. She got to do that every time.
Everything. Ace, baby, in the building.
What's happening?
What's happening?
Lord,
And then we got, she's not new to Life Out Loud. She's been on here before.
she
but-
ain't new to this. She true to this. you
Right.
heard?
Right. I would definitely say that too. We got my girl Crystal.
Crystal.
What's up, Crystal?
What's
Welcome.
What's happening?
Welcome, Crystal.
What's up?
Yeah. Oh, we lit.
Oh, we lit.
Oh, we lit.
Oh, we lit.
Oh, we lit. Lit.
Hey. Oh, we lit.
They don't
Lit.
even know what I'm saying. I'm saying somebody's song. They don't even
Oh,
know.
that. Oh, I
never heard
sure
of
did
my
not
bad.
know. I did not.
Shout out
know.
to AG Lotto.
Is that gelato? Like
I
the
said
ice cream?
AG.
Oh.
Oh, it's AG Lottie. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said
I think it's
gelato.
AG Lado.
I did. It's AG Lottie. My bad.
Lottie.
Okay.
Okay.
Sound like the ice cream.
I'm on
gelato.
the moon right now.
Oh gosh.
I'm an astronaut right now.
You're an astronaut. Okay. Well, we don't know what he's gonna have to say.
Oh, no.
Wow. Okay. Well, we're gonna bring him back to the moon. Look, I'm sounding
Bring him
like
back.
My
God. He already on there. He already on there.
Let my boy stay where he at. Yeah,
Nah.
drill. Yeah, he
Oh
want to
my
stay on the
gosh.
moon.
Shout out to Country Wayne. Shout out
Big
to
ups,
Country
big
Wayne.
ups to Country Wayne. I was just watching some Country Wayne before I came there.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
he hilarious.
Oh my goodness. Yes, he is. I want to see him in person and like stand up. I heard he was funny.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I want to
Yeah,
see
he is.
him. I want to see what's the other one? What's dark skin?
Who that?
Oh gosh.
The dark skin, the other new dude.
I forgot his name. I think I know who
Oh
you're
my
talking
gosh, I
about.
can
Desi
see.
Banks?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I was
yeah.
just like, oh my
Banks.
gosh. I wanna see him.
Yeah.
Oh,
Definitely.
okay, yeah.
Definitely.
I want to see
Yeah.
Desi Banks.
The tall, skinny one.
Yeah.
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 And I want to see who else do I want to see?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. I don't know. Who else do I've seen Kevin Hart in person.
Yeah.
Oh,
We on the moon tonight, y'all.
that's drip. That's
Drip
drip.
entertainment,
That's
yeah.
drip. That's
Y'all
drip
better
right
act-
there.
Y'all better act like y'all know drip in here.
This drip cousin.
Yeah, this
Oh,
drip.
no.
No, this
this
drop. This drop.
COPO, yeah. Hey.
Oh my goodness. Country Wayne, if you are listening, please, we welcome you here on the Life Out Loud podcast.
Oh yeah, for real.
would
Anytime you
love
in the
you to be
Orlando
here.
area, man.
Yeah, please
pull
come
up,
through.
man.
We don't know that's a big, a big ass, but you never know. You never
You know
know.
what I'm saying? Never
who
know,
listening,
man.
who gonna pass something to somebody and be like, hey, we could be like close or distant cousins. You just never
I
know.
don't know about all that. Now,
We
see,
could be
Country Wayne, I
cousins.
don't know what she talking about with all that.
We
but,
could be cousins.
You know, stuff
Okay.
happen. You know what I'm saying? God
You
might
know,
just
you
let
only
her-
like
God
six-
might just put it on their heart. You know what I'm saying? Man, you know what? Let me go fall through the LOL with Kiki's and mom.
You know what?
Let me
He
go
could
support this sister, man.
He could be my cousin's
Oh, here
first
we go.
baby mama baby
that's why
daddy,
see, she about to make it not
cousin,
come. She gonna make it not
neighbor.
come. She gonna say, "Oh nah, I ain't going over there. She crazy. She false claiming. She already false claiming. I get enough of that. Nah.
Oh my goodness.
Well, anywho, y'all. I am so excited. We got a good topic. We got a good pink elephant today. I'm excited. I really want to see. Like, I know that Crystal and myself gonna have a really good time, but I really want to see how Ace Baby gonna do during this particular topic.
Man.
We gonna see what he gonna do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna record.
We gonna see what he gonna do, y'all. Cause
Yeah.
really, this topic is really, it's kind of like a woman to woman thing. But
Oh yeah. Well, I don't need to be there.
No.
I could have just been the cameraman.
no,
And don't be trying to drag me in. either.
No,
Don't be trying to. So look, we finna let y'all know right now.
No.
I'm going ghost. I'm going full
goodness.
No, he
cameraman.
ain't. No.
And
You going
about
power?
and about
You going power?
10 minutes, I'm going
You going-
full cameraman.
You going power?
ghost.
I'm going full cameraman.
You going power?
If that's what you want to call it. I'm going full camera mode.
Well, okay. Well,
So
before
in about 10 minutes, if y'all don't hear no more from me, I'm filming, okay? I'm
No.
still here. I'm present. I'm absent. I might just jump on the mic and say something without the headphones on.
Oh,
You know what
Right.
I'm saying? But I'm filming, though.
but we
want to
add, but we might want to include you in it though.
And I can still talk on the mic and hear y'all without having the
But what if
headphones
we
on.
want you to ask us some questions too?
I ain't got time to do that and record.
Oh,
Oh.
wow.
Yeah.
Y'all, yeah, we heard you.
There's no time on the moon.
Oh gosh.
It's too slow up here.
It's
Got no time for that, man.
so we on the that's where we at. We on the moon
We're
right
on
now.
the moon.
You don't see how I'm rocking back and forth with my child?
No.
This moon motion.
Oh, okay. I don't know what movie he been watching. I don't know where he saw that at, cause I ain't seen that, y'all.
E.T.
I would say I wish we
I
got
made
cameras,
it up.
but we got
I'm in
cameras
a whole
now.
nother world. I made it up.
Oh boy.
Everything. I mean, this is my world right here.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
We need you to come out of that world for
All
a
right, here I
moment.
come. Hold on. Here I come.
it's
Oh,
getting kind
gosh.
of scary, y'all.
He talking about here I
I'm
come.
really, see,
Yeah.
I'm really walking.
Oh,
But my legs, I'm sitting down in the chair, but I'm really walking though.
Oh.
My upper body can feel the motion, but my lower
Crystal,
body ain't.
Crystal,
going
I
through
have
the
no
motion.
idea what to say right now. To
Me
all the
either.
listeners, to all of our
All right, I
listeners.
just got back on the spaceship. Let go.
he back.
Oh, and we back.
Let go.
And we back. So we've got a great pink elephant today. Today we want to talk
Today.
about today.
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 We talking about what we talking about
Today.
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 Okay, so
And a pink elephant
Are
for
you-
today.
shout out to B Wonder, we miss him.
We miss you, my boy. I even had to sit in your chair tonight, my boy.
Wow.
Shout
And we-
out to Keisha.
Keisha V.
Yes, yes.
You know
So today,
Yeah.
our pink elephant is:
what it is.
do I really want to be a wife?
Heck no, I don't.
Well,
almost
not
cussed.
you. Not you.
Yeah, this woman a woman for sure. I'm out right now. I think my 10 minutes just.
No.
I think my 10 minutes just
No,
came.
see, babe. See, the thing
Oh,
is, you
nah,
can have
man.
questions for us.
Nah, I ain't got no. Do I want to? Nah, I want to be
But
me.
you a
I
co-host
want to be a
too.
man. You hear that? You hear that face in my phone? I want to be a man.
That sound a little
Hold on, a
high.
little cracky. In
I want to be a man.
Yeah, a little
I wanna
shaky.
be a
a little,
man.
yeah, a
A
little
little
shaky.
I want to be a man.
Wait,
I want to be a man.
wait. Go back to 3.
I want to be a man. I want to remain a man.
Oh, I was
Oh,
gonna say you want to be
wow.
one.
Hey, chill out. Don't try me like that. That's why I'm finna get out right now.
No, you might have some questions
No.
for us.
Oh my
I
goodness.
can't do it, man. I don't supposed to be a man.
No,
This
you
ain't
could
for
have
me.
some questions for us.
I ain't got none.
I'm a female, and I asked when
I'ma
we
film
had
y'all.
questions. When we
I'ma
had
film
questions
y'all,
last
man.
week,
I'ma film y'all.
we had
man.
questions
Hey, man,
last week, and it
listen,
was
man.
about men.
Man, what I just said, man.
Oh my gosh,
I'ma film y'all.
I
man.
cannot. I guess I cannot.
Man, I'ma film y'all, man.
Okay, well, just know that we would like for you to be a part of the conversation.
I've
Yes.
told you I might chime in here and
You
there, but
might.
don't try to get me
Let's
to
see
keep
if he
me
gonna
and just
chime
drag
in.
me in and just,
Okay,
you know what? Hey, baby, how about this? Okay, well, what about this? Okay, nah, I ain't come here about that.
Okay.
All right.
We got you.
All right.
So Ace Baby is exiting the stage left.
Not yet. Not yet. I changed my mind.
Oh, wow.
Oh gosh.
Okay, so
I got to see what y'all talking about. First.
okay, so we gonna get into the topic right now. Do I really want to be a wife? And really, what this is
Oh yeah,
talking
I'm
about?
out of here. I'm out.
Oh my gosh. Do I really want to be a wife? And today, I think that this is a really important conversation that we really need to have for, I mean, not only just for wives, but for husbands too, right?
Yes.
For husbands too. But today we're talking about, we're going to really focus on the wife. And this is not just a conversation for people to listen to that are females. This is also for our fellas too, because you got to know, some behind the scenes stuff too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would think so.
Yeah.
And I would think that the more that you know before you get married, the better it will be for you to make the decision to say, should I get married? Should I even be a wife? Am I ready to be a wife? And things of that nature. And even when it comes down to like the husbands and stuff, am I ready to be a husband? Some of these same principles I think really could apply for both, but of course men and women think differently. So because they do, there could be an episode for the men too, for the fellas too.
Yeah.
So with that stated, Crystal, I want to say, or I want to
What you want to say? What you want to say?
I want to ask you first, when it comes to being a wife, right? Because let's first establish the fact that you are one, right?
Yes.
You are a wife. How long have you been married?
7 years.
Okay, so you've been married 7 years. All right, so that's a long time for a lot of people. That's that's a real long time. I mean, some people can't make 7 months. Some people can't make 7 weeks. Some people can't make 7 days.
Yeah.
So
True.
I just want to make sure that when we talking about being a wife, that we have a good understanding first of who we got listening, who we got with us that's talking. And we got to make sure that we got people that can understand from different perspectives. Even if you are a wife, it's still something to think about. So I want to first off ask you first, Crystal, what did you see growing up? Did you see any marriages where there was like the ideal wife? Like, did you see that on TV? Was that in your home? Was that, somewhere around where you were? Like, what did you see? What did you see growing up? Did you see, like, what did a wife look like growing up to you?
Working.
That
was all. Working, planning trips for the family to go on. That was all I saw. My mom she wasn't the typical housewife that we would think. I didn't see many shows, many episodes of things where, I've got a good solid example of what a wife should be.
Right,
my mom just worked. She worked at night. She would sleep during the day. My dad pretty much did all the cooking because he enjoyed cooking. That was one of his hobbies. Right. So, he would cook. He would bring my mom food, to the room, so I didn't see an active wife in the home. So I didn't really have an example. Okay.
So did you like watch TV to say, okay, this is what a wife should be, or, to even compare what your home was like to what you would see on TV or anything like that? Nothing like that?
No.
Okay, so you didn't watch like the Cosbys, you didn't watch
I watched it, but I don't think that I really took from it. I wasn't really looking at it for how to be a wife. Right. I was just looking at it for entertainment. Okay. So I didn't really take anything. Now, if I had to say something as far as like what I kind of got the idea of what love's supposed to look like or what a woman should be. It was really that I took to old school music. Okay. And that the guys would sing, about how wives or how the woman they want. And, so I kind of like took it from that. Okay. What kind of woman a man wants based on the songs that I was hearing.
That's a really interesting perspective now that you say that, because like back in the day, fellas used to be in like quartets and stuff going around singing to females and they was like, yes, I love my woman. This is my girl. Ain't nobody else gonna have her.
They used to cry in their music, cause I love and I'm like, gosh, she love her. And it was just that's what you got from it. You felt it. Right.
I never really thought about that particular perspective. But that's that really honestly probably in the back of my head probably is one of the ways that I thought things were supposed to be as well from listening to music. Yeah, definitely. So that's a great point. I never thought about that. I know you kind of alluded a little bit about your mom, like just working, right? So I know technically she was a wife.
Right.
Did you think that her role, being that she worked so much, do you think that she really fulfilled the role of a wife?
Now that I understand it, no.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Now that I'm actually a wife and I've got to learn, what goes into being a wife, I don't feel like my mom was a good example of a wife.
Okay. So that's that takes a lot to say, hey, what's in my environment?
Right.
Like, and as we grow and we learn stuff and we figure out, like, hey, is this what I'm really supposed to be doing? That can be a hindrance, and really be the detriment of us, because that's all we know to do or all we know how to be. But you have to make a decision and say, is this really how I want to be? Is this really what I want to do?
So are you saying that you look at the examples in front of you and you determine within yourself, do I want to be like my mom, or do I want to take another route?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I understand.
Now, see, for me growing up, my parents, they were married when I was much younger. They were married when I was much younger, and then they got a divorce before, I want to say when I turned about like maybe 10 or 11, something like that. And excuse me. And all I can remember is like the happy times when I was much, much younger, when I was like 5 or 6.
Right.
Where they did stuff together. They had card parties and, they was playing Luther Vandross, and they was playing, like all the old school stuff, smoking cigarettes and, just having a good time. Everybody just enjoying themselves. That's what I remember what things were like. And I always remember my mom handling stuff. But then when I got older, they were still technically married, but all I saw was my mom in the house, and I know that my dad wasn't there. And so for me, even though I technically knew that she was still married, all I knew her to be was just mom and not wife,
Right.
And so I can't really say that I really, really got an understanding of what a wife was supposed to look like, other than you wishing you had the family like you saw on TV, you wishing that you were a part of a family like the Cosbys, where you could be Rudy, because me and Rudy were the same age. So
but then you have the fact that when you're a kid, you don't really know anything about marriage and relationships. You're just being raised by your parents, so you don't even know what you're looking at or what so from my perspective, I thought I just had a regular childhood. From my friends would say, oh, your mom and your dad's together, you're going on vacations, your mom and dad work. That was the basic lifestyle for you. So I don't even know what to look at. So there was so much going on behind the surface, so I think as kids, we just look at the surface, and we don't know what's going on, and we find out later when we get older, when our parents reveal to us that it was so much other stuff going on that we didn't know about.
I would definitely agree to that. When it comes to actually being in hindsight, and being in hindsight of, okay, what is a wife supposed to look like? I don't think I started learning truly what a wife was supposed to look like until I got older, I got older. I wasn't married, but even then before I got married, the first time, I still had my perceptions of what I thought a wife should be, or what a wife should do, or how a wife should act. Just even as a young adult, I could see other husbands and wives, couples doing stuff, and I'd be like, oh, that's cute. Oh, she does that for him. Oh, he does that for her. And I was really intrigued. I was really intrigued on it, and then there were just all I saw was the happy stuff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't seeing couples fighting on the outside because you know people were showing you in front of them. Oh yeah, that's my wife. Oh yeah, that's my husband. And oh yeah, they cooking. They having potlucks or dinners or game nights or whatever. And so all I saw was the happy stuff. Yeah, I saw the surface stuff. So even as a young adult, I still don't think that I really got what I really needed to get and have an understanding of until I watched what's the lady? Juanita Bynum. I watched No More Sheets. Oh my goodness. Have you ever seen No More Sheets?
I didn't.
Oh my gosh, girl, that that particular video, I remember this lady saying, and I will never forget this. She talked about this before she got married, and she had already been married one time already before, and she talked about you ain't ready to be a wife until you can learn how to make sure that you got enough stuff in the house. And I was like, well,
what does that mean?
What does that mean? She was like, you got to have stacks and stacks of toilet paper, stacks and stacks of tissue, and stacks and stacks. She was just basically saying you need to learn how to take care of a house first.
Right.
Before you can bring somebody into the house.
Right.
So that was my first practical and a real insight of what wifely duties were, not just, just the submission part, but like the whole part about how to take care of a house, what you should be doing in the home. And I really, really was like, dang, this lady passionate. She right. I was like, I ain't got but like 2 rolls of toilet paper in the house.
Oh my goodness.
I ain't got but like 2 rolls of toilet paper in the house. And I was like, dang, guess I ain't ready to get married yet. I gotta have some more toilet paper in the house. So that was my really my actual encounter when it came to really having an understanding of what it's supposed to be about, what being a wife was really supposed to be about. I really did not get it, but early on, I really didn't. But I even still would listen to that. Even still would listen to that. I still was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. I really just, okay. I know I'm supposed to love my husband.
Right.
And I know I'm supposed to treat him good. I know I'm supposed to cook. And I know I'm supposed to clean. That's all I knew.
That's all I knew too.
And have stacks and stacks of toilet paper.
Yes. Well, I didn't know that part, so you was one up on me.
And so that's what I learned, right? And so I kind of want to transition a little bit into like, okay, now you've come to the place where you're married now, right? You've come to the place where you're married. And at what point, or let me ask you, after you got married, did you think that you were supposed to be a wife at that point?
Ooh. I don't know. It's just, okay. I guess my story is just kind of weird, as to why we got married when we did. So I'm not going to get into the backstory, but when we got married, it just felt so weird. It was like, first of all, we didn't have a wedding. We went to the courthouse. And after we got married, we went to breakfast, and it just felt like just a normal day. I didn't feel no different. I don't know. I didn't feel like, oh, I'm a wife now. Like I didn't have no euphoria type of feeling. So I really don't.
So, I'm glad you just said that. Okay. So this made me think of another question. Okay. You said, like this, oh my gosh, I'm married. That didn't happen. Is that because, and this I don't know, so I'm asking her, y'all, on the podcast, is that because y'all were already acting as if you were married already, like you were already living together, you were already, had stuff together, and so now it's just on a piece of paper?
Could be. Because, yeah, we were already living together. So I never thought about that. I mean, that could very well be so that we were already pretty much together. So it wasn't like, you like the typical, you move in with your husband and, you starting this new life together. I'm already used to him now. Right. It's just now we're married and it's on paper. Okay. So I never thought about it like that, but that could be why I didn't feel no type of way. I just was like, okay, we're married now.
Okay.
That was just it.
Okay. So now with you being, kind of going back to my question about you being a wife, right? Okay, so now let's say you're this new wife, or it could be a year or 2 years or whatever it is. After you got married and now you're like, okay, I'm a wife. Do you feel that you were prepared to be a wife?
No.
Okay.
I wasn't prepared to be a wife. Just it just life circumstances and things just started happening where, I had to dig deep and try to look for something that wasn't an example to me. And I had to try to figure out, do I want to be like my mom or do I want to just find my own way and do it my own way? So I kind of was like what you said, the basics of what we thought that a wife was, just take care of your husband, cook, make sure the house is clean. Those were the basic things, but it was so much more than that surface that I'm like, okay, how I'm going to handle this? Yeah. How I'm going to handle that? So, and being that my husband didn't know, much about being a husband, it was just difficult.
Wow. So yeah, that is difficult.
Very.
That is difficult. So when you realize that, okay, dang, I don't know what I'm doing. I done got married. I don't know what I'm doing. How did you handle that? Like, what was like your recourse, or what was the thing that you did to really say, you know what? I done got myself in this. I'm married. I'm in it for the long haul. But I just don't know what to do. Like, how did you handle those adversities as trying to be a wife, realizing that you didn't know what you were doing as a wife? Like, how, like, what did you do?
I just tried to cover it up.
Okay.
I tried to cover it up.
That's honest. That's good.
I tried to cover it up with what I know. What I did know. And I just hoped that what I did know was enough.
Right.
I was hoping that it was sufficient enough to sustain my marriage, but I had to eventually deal with the fact that I did not know. And that's where my faith came in and my praying came in. And I'm like, Lord, I need you to show me how to be the wife that I need to be, because it's difficult. It's not just what we thought. It's not just cleaning up. It's not just trying to make sure they're happy or taking care of the kids. It's so much more, emotionally and spiritually right. that I had to deal with. But I tried to cover it up.
That's a good point that you make about trying to cover something up, because I think that many times we do cover stuff up or try to pretend like we know something when we really don't know what in the heck we're doing. Yep. Right? I've heard that about parenting too.
Yeah, definitely.
I've heard that about parenting too. But just speaking on being a wife, I think that that's a very honest and transparent answer, because many times when we don't know, we don't go looking for help. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. We're not seeking counsel from wise people, from people who've been through it. We'll go ask our girlfriends, like, or tell our girlfriends, like, yeah, like, hey girl, like, he not doing this, he not doing that. And right. And that from somebody who's either never been married. Right. One who's bitter about being married. Right. Or like they just have like,
or someone who didn't have an example, like you didn't have an example. So what can two people with no example accomplish?
Right, exactly. So I think that many times what we end up doing is we end up falling into traps. Yeah. And what it does is create even more of a deeper hole. And now our husbands are just like, well, hey, who in the heck did I marry? Right. Like, I don't even know, because we really don't have no expectations. Wow. All we know is we just supposed to be, we supposed to cook, we supposed to clean, we supposed to, take care of kids, and that's it. Like,
so let me ask you something, Miss Kiki Simone.
Go ahead.
Do you feel like you are the same person now that you were when you first got married?
When, the first time or the second?
The second time. The second time. Well, do you feel like you were the same person now that you were when you first got married, and then to this marriage to who you are now? Like, how has your process been?
Either way it go, I ain't the same person.
You're not the same person.
Yeah, either way, I'm not the same person. I think that there was a lot of, and I'm glad you asked me that, because from my first marriage to my second one, there was growth there between the first one and the second one. But then there was a different kind of growth in my second marriage than it was before I got married the second time. So what I mean by that is, the first time I got married, there were things that I learned and things that I thought that I learned.
Right.
When in actuality, in my second marriage, when some of the same things would arise, I realized I probably still really have not learned what I thought I learned.
Right.
So I've had to grow in the same area different ways, multiple, just different ways at different times in my life.
Right.
And so I could say one of those things were, because I'm just be honest, because Kiki is going to be transparent. Right. So one of those things was, I really have, and my husband is here so he can attest to it. I really had had an issue with reacting. Right. So I didn't see myself as necessarily causing an issue, but my reactions were probably just as bad as what may have been initiated, because I wasn't making the situations better. Right. So I know that I had that issue when I first got married the first time, and I realized it in that marriage that's how I was. And then I thought I got better. I really thought I got better as I had, I went from relationship to relationship, not a whole bunch of them, but you know what I'm saying? Okay, I digress. I had something else in my head. But from relationship to relationship, and when I got married the second time, some of that same stuff started coming out all over again. Yeah. All over again. And my husband, if I'm just honest, he was just very he was the one that was to come to apologize first. Right. He was always, I'm saying this on camera, he was always the one to apologize first. Right. And me, I was my reactions, no, I'm gonna hold on to this. The same way. I'm gonna hold on to this. And it took for me, for God to pull me to the side to be like, you know what? Okay, you in this situation right here, you got some things going on, and you really need to work on these things here.
Yep, that's why I'm at.
He just got me in a place where it was you by yourself. Yeah. You gotta, this is what you gotta work on right now. You gotta work on your reactions. You gotta work on, ooh, this is a good one. And I know my husband gonna love me for this one too. You gotta work on your tone. Yeah. Oh, you gotta work on your tone.
If I don't hear that every day at home, I was like, what is it about the tone? Gosh. He was like, you don't understand. You ain't a man. What is it about the tone?
I literally, because my job every day is teaching people how to talk to people. Right. And me having the ability to talk to everybody all nice and having to put stuff together, sugarcoat stuff, and, just make stuff sound so nice and pretty. But I couldn't even do that same thing with my husband.
Same, yeah.
And so God was dealing with me with that and was like, you need to know how you talking to your husband. Yeah. You really need to know. This is one of the things.
Ooh, I struggle with that so bad.
I mean, I think it is a struggle because as a woman, sometimes we can react. As women, we sometimes can, you know, we get in our feelings and bam, that's what it is, because we're emotionally led. You know what I'm saying? So whatever emotion we're feeling, it just come out at the moment. And so I think that if we learn how to channel that, or if we learn how to count to 10, you know, or if we learn how to say, you know what, recognize, okay, I'm not ready to say nothing right now.
The timing is very important.
Yes. And ladies, if you're listening, like, this really is one of the things about being a wife that you really have to be able to have an understanding of what I need to be able to do. This is not saying you can't speak up for yourself or anything like that. This is just saying I need to learn how to use my words, and I need to learn how to change my tone. I need to learn how to change. Yes, and my timing. And so that was like, that's an example that I could give when I say, like, when you ask me that question of, like, you know, am I the same person that I was, you know, when I first got married? Right. Definitely not. Me either. Definitely not. But I think it takes trials, and I think it takes difficult moments in your marriage for you to come to a real realization of who you really are, and am I gonna do what I need to do to work on that?
And that's another thing that's important in marriages, is that when you go through these trials and tribulations, it's not always about your partner. You have to look at yourself and say, okay, I'm going to evaluate this situation, and I'm going to look at me. I'm going to look at Crystal, and not always look at David, or, you know, I have to look at me. And I've learned so much about myself that I don't like. And it's hard. It's a big pill to swallow, because nobody don't want to know what they're not good at. Nobody don't want to know what they're lacking at. You know, we want to be praised. Right. But the truth of the matter is that we have flaws.
That is so true. And I really think at the end of the day, like, if we're not really honest with ourselves about, you know, who we really are, even good or bad. I mean, it's great to know all the great things about you. But if we're never growing, if we stop growing, let me just say that, if we stop growing, then at what point do we become better human beings? Like, how do we become better in this regards? We're talking about, you know, for your spouse, but how do we become better wives if we think we just got it together, if we just think everything is all good? And I can speak for myself to say, like, I know even just the two things I mentioned, like, I have to be intentional about that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And if we can't stop and think about being intentional about the other person, right? Not saying you're focused on them, but if I can't be intentional about treating my husband right, then I really don't need to be married.
Don't need to be married.
You know what I'm saying? I really don't need to be married if I can't be intentional about trying to do right by him.
And I think that goes into what makes being a wife so difficult, because you have to somewhat focus on your husband. You have to focus on yourself, and you have to have balance.
Yes. Oh, that's a great thing, balance.
You have to have balance, because
you can't lose yourself in your marriage.
You can lose yourself, because you lose yourself when that balance is out of whack. You know, when you're focused more on your spouse than yourself. True. And that's when the balance, and it happens all the time.
I would agree.
It happens all the time, because as women, when we have a man, and we have a good man, you know, it's natural, it's in us to just want to do everything for that person, because you love them. We're affectionate, we're emotional beings. Right. We like to show how much we love you. So it's easy for a woman to just dive into her husband, you know, and just lose herself.
I 100% agree on that. I've lost myself in both my marriages.
I've definitely lost myself.
So I'm just being transparent, y'all. I said before in my first marriage that I would not lose myself the second time, and then I did again.
Yep, I did
too. And then I found myself again, and so I was really happy. Girl, she was down the street, you know. She was down the street, around the corner, upstairs in the third apartment on the side left.
Ooh, she was real lost.
Adjacent to
she was real lost.
But no, I really did. I really had to understand, like, who is Kiki, right? And I really needed to know, like, is Kiki even good for somebody else? You know what I'm saying? Like, we really need to be honest. Like, is the person that we are expecting or the person that we want, are we willing to be that person for them? You know what I'm saying? Are we willing to be the person for them? If we're not willing to be the person for them, then, like, why you married anyway? Why? Hey, let's not even say married. Why you in a relationship? Period. Like, why you in a relationship? Period. So I think that we really need to do, like you said, self-evaluation, right? A real good self-evaluation in regards to seeing, am I the wife that I'm supposed to be? Should I even be a wife? Heck.
But then when you ask that question with no example, what do you have to compare it to?
Right.
When you say, am I the wife that I'm supposed to be? The only person can answer that is your husband. But what if your husband don't know what a wife's supposed to look like either?
See, and that's when there's a lot of
problems.
Conflict. Yes. Yes, we are. We twinning today.
Yes.
We twinning today.
Yes, ma'am.
There are a lot of issues when you have two people that don't know how to be married.
They don't know what I'm going to say this. There's a lot of issues when you have two people that don't know what a healthy marriage is supposed to look like.
Yeah, that, and if they are not willing to be intentional about the practicalities of things.
Right.
So,
or compromise.
Yeah.
You know, you have to be willing to let go of what you thought you knew and be willing to, you know, to make some changes with your partner, like what we discussed in the beginning. You know, are you going to do what you saw, or are you going to get together with your spouse and create a new?
Right.
But some people, marriages fail when people stick to what they saw, and they bring that into their marriage with no room for compromise, and then they just fail.
That's really good. that's really good. I think that marriages fail as well because, and in speaking to, you know, to our topic in regards to wives, when women are very independent and don't want to allow a husband to lead.
Correct.
But having a true understanding of what submission is. I think that's what ends up happening is there's so many women that just believe that they know. We keep hearing about independent, but we're not really hearing more about what is submission. And submission is not dictatorship.
No, it's not.
And I think that that's where we get mixed up at, where people end up saying, you know, well, he ain't finna be telling me what to do. We ain't finna be doing all this. And I ain't finna be doing all this for him. Like, I got a job. I got this. I got that. Like, I'm my own woman. What is it?
What is submission to you?
That is shameful. So to me, submission is being able to honor your husband, value what he brings to the table, and even in your lack of understanding, that you can still allow him to lead the home the best way that he knows how.
Right.
Now, that's not to say that it's a dictatorship, but it's to say that I'm going to allow you to carry the home. You know, I'm going to allow you to carry the home. I'm going to allow you to do what you think is best for the home, even when I don't understand or even when I don't agree.
So it's just blind trust.
I really believe so. And if I could be, and I think this is the part I think that my husband should come in on, when you just said that blind trust. Babe, would you like to come in on it in regards to when we was walking that day in the rain? Do you want to talk about it? He may not want to talk about it, y'all. So, but I'll just share very briefly what happened. And that was, we were on our walk. We were taking a walk around our neighborhood, and we got to a point to where when we got to our street, like further on down our street, we could either make a right to come to our house or we could keep straight and keep on our path. Mm-hmm. And my husband has said at that point, he asked me, he was just like, babe, do you want to, it's starting to rain. You want to go ahead and you want to make this right and just go ahead to the house? And I was like, I was like, we ain't taking no shortcuts. And so we kept walking. We kept walking up the street. And the more and more we walked up the street, oh my gosh, it started raining harder and harder and harder and harder. And it's no lie. I wish he would get on the microphone and back me up. But it started raining harder and harder. And so by the time we got to the last street for us to come to get to our street again, mm-hmm. the rain was so hard. We couldn't see each other. We couldn't see each other at all. We couldn't, his glasses was all fogged up. I couldn't see nothing.
Wow.
It was pitch black outside. And all there was just an open street. And the only thing we could do was hold hands and walk down the middle of the street with it pouring down raining, holding hands, trusting each other.
Wow.
That's all we had. Like, we literally, that whole block, and these blocks ain't short either, as you know, Crystal. These blocks ain't short.
Not at all.
We were in the middle of the street and holding hands, and we was trusting each other, blindly walking together down the street to get all the way back home. By the time we made it home to our street, it started raining.
Wow.
And we was like, OMG. Like, and it just really made me think, like, dang, look, God is really trying to tell us something. Like,
trust.
Take the shortcut. No, we ain't taking no shortcut. We gonna take this rough road all the way through. Mm-hmm. And it got harder and harder and harder and harder.
And harder and harder. No couch shot it. It was crazy. It was a crazy experience, man. I don't know. I felt like we learned a lot, you know what I'm saying? From that, like you say, we could have took the little shortcut, you know what I'm saying? We was on the next block over, we could have took the little shortcut, came up, we was like 5 houses down. But instead, we decided to go a whole block. And these blocks, like big blocks. So it was just, you know, I don't know. I felt like it was a message in it, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And all kind of stuff, man. It was just a whole bunch of little jewels that we got out of it. You know what I mean? So
I agree. It was literally
she literally had it started raining so hard to the point where she couldn't do nothing but keep her eyes closed and follow me. She already scared of water. You throw water in her face, she thinks she drowning.
Oh goodness.
So she couldn't open her eyes for nothing. She didn't want no water to get in her eyes.
So she had to follow you through an uncomfortable situation. Yep. And just trust.
And just she couldn't do nothing but trust me.
Wow.
Yep. And all he kept saying, oh, come on, babe. I got you. I got you. Come on, babe. And all we was doing is holding hands. And literally, it could have been like a movie for real.
Facts.
No cars were coming or nothing.
Facts.
We just walked down the middle of the street, just pouring down rain and soaking wet. And
that's a big message.
Who you telling?
That's a big message. Just because but you know what? It's so scary. It's so scary because if you don't have an example, you've never had an example, you know, of what a solid marriage is supposed to look like. And then you meet this person, you fall in love with this person, and then now your whole life is together, you know, to death do you part. And this person just tells you, I got you.
Right.
And you're supposed to just believe it.
Right.
That's scary.
Some people don't. Some people, I think because I was a hopeless romantic, maybe that was a little edge I had. But I think I just wanted to trust my husband. And right. I think for me, I have a willingness to trust him even when he don't know. And sometimes he be thinking I'm questioning him, but I just be wanting to know stuff sometimes. That's all, huh, babe?
Nose, it touch your nose.
Whatever.
I mean, but I was on the opposite side of the spectrum when I say that I actually did trust my husband completely and fully, you know, in the beginning, and he let me down big time, you know. So it just went from like I don't even.
I let
know.
her down too.
Well,
big time.
Yeah. But it's, you know, it was scary after that. You know, if I could just be honest, you know, it was very scary after that because I'm like, you know, the things that you're doing is kind of, you know, like, I don't know if I can trust you with my life and, you know, with these kids. Now, he from the ghetto, you know, so I mean, as far as fighting, you know, I wouldn't run like that, you know, but it's like the life skills that he wasn't shown, you know, so it's like, who's responsible? Who do you hold accountable for something when nobody saw this? Nobody knows. So it's like you both bumping heads, but I don't know how to be no good wife because I didn't see it. You don't know how to be, you know, a good husband because you didn't see it. And what are we measuring this to? What are we? How do we even know? Right. Whose standard of good are we on? You know, whose standard of good?
Everybody got their own.
There you go. That's very true. And
agree.
That is very true and very deep and very scary.
Facts.
She said it very scary.
And very scary because if you think about it, if every individual person have their own standard of what they feel like is good, that's why married couples bump heads because a wife could be like, you know, I'm doing everything that I know to do. Right. You're not doing anything, you know, compared to what I think you should, because that's all it is what I think you should be doing. Right. That's not fair for the wife or the husband. Right. For somebody to put expectations on you based on what they think you should be doing. That's why communication is important.
I 100% agree on that. I 100% agree on that. And I think also when it comes to the wife, you know, we talked about being submissive and things of that nature. I know we coming to a close in just a moment, but like just being a wife, it's very important. And I want to share this to the lady listeners. It's very important that you have an understanding of what you want, you know, what you prefer versus what you need. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's a big difference because a lot of people have a preference, but their preferences is not what's going to help them grow as a person. Right. You know what I'm saying? And so because you have a preference, like you could get married to the richest person in the world, but if he ain't never at home, you know what I'm saying? Right. You married, he ain't never at home. You don't do nothing. But what you need for the type of person that you are is the person that's like, I want to take trips together. I want to do this together. You know what I'm saying? If you're one of those women that are just like, hey, I gravitate towards affection, and you marry someone who's not affectionate, that's probably, you know, gonna be a little bit difficult. But because they got money, you know, you'll be like, oh, well, we'll work it out. No. Like, no, that's a preference. That's not a necessity.
If we got money, we'll work it out. I could do that right there. That's me right there. But we got some money, we can work it out.
But I really, really want women to really understand that. Really sit and think about what's a preference and what's a necessity in your life. And if you are wanting to get married, if you think that you would be a good wife, I won't list out the things you think that you should, that you do, that you believe is a good thing. And then even look at some of your own opportunities to say, what can I be better at? Right. You know what I'm saying? I can definitely say, I know, again, like I said, I know we finna be out in just a minute. But one of the things I can say that my husband is better at holding money than I am.
Oh yeah.
Yes, Lord.
Oh, yeah, my
Lord,
husband
have mercy, Jesus.
Baby's better at finances than I am.
Lord.
Okay, so, but
I'm swiping, no swipe.
Baby's better at holding money than I am. And that's still something that I still recognize that I really do need to work on. Like, I really, really need to work on that. And he's much better at it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I understand. I would need somebody like that versus somebody who, would just give me a credit card and just be like, oh, yeah, go spend what you want. Because that's what I'm going to do. And I still would have no care for, what's the word? Not management, but it is management of your money.
Right.
I'm trying to think of what the word is. But I really would just be doing whatever I want to do. Mm-hmm. And that's not something that I need. You know what I'm saying? I need to be able to learn how to save money properly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how to do that.
Me either.
I don't know how to do that. Nope. And so
if I know I got it, I'm gonna spend it.
That's pretty much.
And I don't like being like that. I don't know why I'm like that.
I know why I'm like that.
I really just need
I know.
All her finances that she gets just need to come to me. We'll be straight. She just be spending.
He might be right though. Like he might be right.
I might be right, but then she ain't gonna do it though.
No, he might be right though.
Women be shopping. Women be shopping.
But you know what? But let me say this too.
Dang.
This brother be shopping too.
Nah, and not like I can't compare to you.
No,
you got
not
me beat 100 times.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not saying. No, 1 minute, baby. Swipe.
Women are emotional shoppers. Okay.
I'm an impulse shopper.
She be going in.
But no
remorse.
Do you at least buy what you need, or you just shop?
She just shop.
I
she
do
buy what she need.
I do buy what I need.
She go overboard.
Yeah, I'm that person that's just like, I shop how I pack. Have you ever thought about that, babe? I shop how I pack. I always have extra. I always have more. Mm-mm. And that's that Juanita Bynum thing really got it really stuck in so many areas of my life. No, that. But anywho, babe, you wanna get in our podcast?
Man, I've been in, man. I'm just saying, y'all. Hey, man. Hey, salute to the women, man. That's all I got to say, man.
You know, it would have been really dope to be able to play Ain't a Babe.
Back to the bubbles.
But you know what? I still can. Technically, I can play it. But, maybe I'll save it for another episode. It's all good, though.
It's all good.
Because we was talking about women. We was talking about women. But anywho, we'll get it in there somewhere. But we got one last thing to do. Crystal, real quick, I got one last question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what would you, the Crystal that you are today, tell the Crystal that you were before you got married? What piece of advice would you give yourself?
The piece of advice that I would give myself is the Crystal today. I would tell myself before I was married, let go of your pride, let go of any expectations, and be willing to compromise and sacrifice.
Okay.
A lot.
Okay.
For marriage.
That's what's up.
Respect.
Yeah.
Well, Crystal, we really appreciate you joining us on today.
Yeah.
Real quick, we got this little thing called On the Podcast, and I love it.
Me too.
I don't know if we really gonna be able to really. Well, you listen all the time, so you know what it's like. So, babe, you ain't even gotta explain it to her. But I ain't even gotta explain nothing to him either, cause he looking down at the thing. So we just gonna go ahead and get right to it.
Hey.
How this gonna
Give me a little bit more volume on that beat, man.
Let's see how this finna go.
You know what I'm saying, man? Who kicking it out? Kiki Simone, you gotta kick it off. It's your show. Let's go.
Okay. I be drinking on a podcast.
I wish I had some Lincolns on a podcast.
Ooh, I ain't thinking on a podcast.
What? I'm sinking on this podcast.
Yeah.
I wish I was drinking on the podcast.
But she just said drinking on the podcast.
We gonna do some more linking on the podcast.
And then we gonna be sinking on the podcast.
Y'all saying the same thing on the podcast. Got me over here like, dang on the podcast. I guess I gotta take over on the podcast. I gotta chip up on my shoulder on the podcast.
Y'all, he's still on the moon on the podcast.
I'm coming soon on the podcast.
Well, I'm coming at noon on the podcast.
Yeah,
on the podcast. On the podcast.
Rah, 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 rah.
On the podcast.
We having so much fun on the podcast.
I'm on the run on the podcast.
I'm hot as the sun
on the podcast.
We want 10 million subscribers on the podcast.
Ooh, and make it higher on the podcast.
Mariah on the podcast.
Okay.
What she talking about on the podcast?
She gonna have Mariah on the podcast.
Not the Messiah on the podcast.
Country boy Wayne on the podcast.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Kiki do her thing on the podcast.
Can I get some chicken wings on the podcast?
I hope I don't get a cast on the podcast.
Yeah, on the podcast.
I don't know what you just said, Crystal. I have absolutely no idea what you just said.
He said, yeah.
Anywho, well, thank you so much, Crystal, for
thank you, Crystal, for coming through. Cause ain't no way she would have been able to do this with me without you.
This is so very true. So, Crystal, we really appreciate you. Real quick, ABE Ace Baby, give them your handles.
Hey man, you already know who it is. It's Ace Baby, for those who don't know. And y'all can follow me on social media at ABE_Ace Baby. That's ABE_ACEBABY. Yeah.
And Crystal, we know that you are not currently on social media at this time, so it's all good.
All good.
It's all good. But make sure that you are subscribed to the LOL podcast. That's LOL with Kiki Simone, QUISYMONE. And make sure that you check us out on IG as well. We are also on there as well. So until the next time, y'all.
Until the next
See ya.
time.
Until the next time, y'all.
We'll holler.
Until the next time, y'all. Until the next time, y'all.
Y'all, she don't know.
She's on repeat.
Y'all. Until the
but
next
she's skipping.
time, y'all.
She don't know what she doing. Y'all.
I do whatever.
Cook Up Academy.
I know you want it, you looking for it. I know who got it. She talk about it in every EP you holler. Don't nobody ever be on what she be